Okay, the first ones on the top are really simple, actually. You're just finding the distance between 2 points on a number line. It says use the number line to find each measure. So here we have LN. Looking at the number line, we have point L and point N. It's important to look at the scale of the number line, but I noticed that each tally is 1 point. So you can actually just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Then number 2, JL, I'm going to do the same thing. 8 units. Another way you could do this is using subtraction. L is at 3 and J is at -5. So you could do 3 minus -5 and you would get 8. So if it was hard to tell or it was too long to count, you could just use subtraction to find the difference. KN. So from K to N, -2 to 9. So you could count -2 to 9 is going to be 11 units. That makes sense. And MN, this one's even easier. 1, 2, 3 units. Okay, then we already practiced distance, so we're going to kind of skip over that. And then we're going to go down to midpoint. Midpoint is the exact center. It's saying to find the midpoint of each segment. So segment DE. So looking at there, find the middle. Looks like it's right there at 9. BC. Again, this one's really easy to eyeball. The midpoint's right here at 1. BD, it's a little bit harder to see it and like count into the center, but you can still see that the middle is right here. Was that correct? 1, 2, yes. It's right here at 3. AD, it's hard to like eyeball it. Here's another way you can find the midpoint, to find the average between those 2 points. So notice that A is at -4 and then D is at 7. So what we're going to do is add that together and divide by 2 to find the average, and that'll give us the middle. So -4 plus 7 is 3. 3 over 2, divide that and you get 1.5 or 1.5. So the midpoint of AD is at 1.5. Okay, now we're going to use the equation for midpoint. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of a segment with given endpoints. Here we are here. The equation for midpoint that you wrote down on your, or that is in your notes, you didn't write it down, but it is x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1, I shouldn't say the wrong number, y2 over 2. So write this down on your paper, x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. The coordinates you label the same way as you did with distance formula, x1, y1, x2, y2. Something you may notice is that this looks similar to what we did up here. And that's because, yes, we're finding the average or the middle between the x's and the middle between the y's, and that'll give us the midpoint of those 2 points. So we're going to plug our points into this equation. So 3 plus 5 over 2. So x1 plus x2 here, and 1 plus 3 over 2. continue simplifying. 3 plus 5 is 8, so I got 8 over 2 and 4 over 2. And I can simplify that one step further. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So my midpoint is right here, 4, 2. Okay, number 18. We're going to do the same thing. We're using this equation. Add up your x's, put it over 2, and then add up your y's, put it over 2. And then simplify. You get 1 over 2. And then this kind of turns out weird. 2 plus negative 2 is 0. So we get 0 over 2. But 0 divided by 2 is just 0. So you get 1/2, 0. And that's your midpoint. Okay, the next skill is more of an honor skill. From what I can tell from this class, you guys are pretty with it and pick up things easily. I'm going to slowly go through one of these here. If you get these kind on your homework, please ask questions so I can help you if needed. Here is the concept. It says find the coordinates of the missing endpoint if P is the midpoint of NQ. So what it's saying is you have a segment here. This is NQ. And P is the midpoint. But instead of finding out the coordinates for the midpoint, you're finding out the coordinates for one of the endpoints. So you're told N here is 2, 0. P is 5, 2. And then Q, you don't know. So we're going to label it X2, Y2. What we're going to do is use this midpoint equation, but we're going to use it backwards. We have the midpoint for the x and the y, and we have to solve for, in this case, x2 and y2. So here's how we're going to set that up. We know that the midpoint for the x is 5. So x1, which is 2, plus x2 over 2. And then for the y portion, 2 equals 0 plus y2 over 2. So we're solving it backwards for these variables. So now we're just solving an equation. Multiply this by 2, multiply this by 2. Get 10 equals 2 plus x. I keep saying one thing and writing another thing. 2 plus x, 2. Then to solve this, subtract 2, and I get 8 equals x2. So I'm just going to kind of circle that for right now. I'm going to use that in a second. Then here, same thing. I'm going to solve for y2. Multiply both sides by 2. 4 equals 0 plus y2. Now, 0 subtracting from both sides isn't going to do anything, so we can kind of just cross that out. y2 equals 4. That's our coordinates. x2, 8, y2 is 4. That's your answer there. Some of you will get that, some of you may not. What I'd really like you to focus on is just midpoint and distance formula. And if you happen to understand this, you're amazing. There are a couple of these on the homework, in the homework bank that you may come across. Let me give you the answers to them here. So just flip over the other side. This here, the answer is 3, -2. And then this one is -4, 3. And then if you get one of the other ones, just let me know and I'll help you work through it. Cool.